that I got this done, or at least started, because we really have to do the top. And I do have screws out and available, but I don't have time because I want to do the I want to try and straighten out more, level out more of the ground. But I just want to show this real quick. And so when I first came out and did, I took out some sedum that I had put in the ground last year. I don't know the variety. And so pretty much right now this area is kind of empty unless these, but I don't think they are. There should have been like 3. Maybe last year there was 1. That looks like it was the one. Shasta daisy, I don't think they're going to come back. So pretty much we have 1, 2, 3 solid clumps, maybe a 4th one, of yarrow and some daffodils. I don't think anything seeded itself here. There might be some zinnias or marigolds that come up. I think that's how they came up last year. I don't think I moved. I may have moved here. There should also be some gladiolas here. So maybe I'll just move the gladiolas over here instead of moving it to the front bed. But we'll see. But yeah, this is 100% alive and she's coming out strong. Fantastic. I do want to get is I have some wire that I want to staple to the front so at least it climbs up the wire. Not that it's going to be, you know, so I can put multiple in like a fan fashion. As opposed to just one. I have it now going up. I lifted it up just so it's like, okay, yeah, this is where you're going. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks. And then we see how it looks from over here. So it's not, obviously this is the curve of the line. I wanted it to look straight this way, but I don't think so in the case. That one is straight, it just leans regardless. So I'm fine with it leaning because ideally I would have had them both. I thought I was going to be able to bend it. It was too tall. I would have had to get a bunch of stuff. Also, it was super easy to break. So, like, what would the bending have done? Anyway, I'm going to get a piece. I do have a piece of another piece of wood here. I'm going to, another day, come and either screw it and or tie it. I tried tying it, but I need another hand anyway. So, yeah. And all the roses are coming up. They're waking up. So, we love that. She's about to look real full soon enough. I have to come and weed over here. Even if, you know, and I have fertilizer. So, yeah, that one's coming up, that one back there. So all the oak sticks that were there are gone now. I actually like this orientation, which I don't mind because it's like a little room, but in terms of making it like a bigger space, I do think it makes more sense for now, unless of course, well, at some point a table's going to be added. There was something I was thinking about putting here, but anyway, we're going to live. I do like these. This was the table that was here. It broke. It wasn't most secure with the legs and whatnot, but I like the idea of 2 little small tables here for like prep work. So that might be something. That makes sense. And I did forget that I had these pallets. So at most there's 3 pallets this size. Anyway, and I was, you know, it's a lot flatter than it was initially, but it's still not flat. There's still like a gradient you can see. And it's pretty much like in the middle of that middle one. And so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to try and flatten it out. But I was like, oh my gosh, are they even the same height? So that could also be a thing. But I'm going to flatten that out now. With this ambient noise, you know, it really feels like, oh, we're outdoor living again. One, with this unseasonably warm temperature, it really feels like, you know, end of spring, early summer, whatever. I know we're going to go back down to the 60s, which is still a bit hot in my mind, but I guess where we should be by the time we're there. And then with this setup, it's really giving, you know, I've said for a while that I want that my garden is coastal, but like woodland. You know, we're in the coastal plains. I think we're in a dry mesic forest, I think. And so So we're not far from the coast, but we're not on the coast. But it's anyway. That's kind of what guides my thinking. That and like parks. So like the queen of the one I always talk about is not get rid of the name. So one in Fort Tarrant, the Cloisters. The Cloisters. I went there several times decades ago, so I don't know if the garden is really the same. I just remember quince trees and whatnot, and la da da da, and the little squares or whatever. But that's kind of what guides. But you know, that's a big inspiration in my gardening. But then also like public parks. So I definitely want. I mean, I don't want to add more big shade trees. So we have a large portion of just oak trees. So it's kind of like, what's the point? But I do love me some shade. When the oak trees flush out, oh. So anyway, this with the blue umbrella and the candles and the pallets. Also, she doesn't know it yet, but I just realized that my mother has like pallets over there. They might be in bare condition because these are like already looking terrible in like a day or two. So there's probably like one or two that can be saved, or at least I say two because one of the other ones I might use to fill in the gaps of the other one. But that's like the main thing. I was trying to sit with my mother, and on one pallet, if you get one, you can't get another one on the same pallet without like sitting in holes. And then I evened it out a bit more. I did actually set aside a piece of wood, and I didn't do it. I don't know why. I was going to use it to level the ground. I didn't do that instead. I went with my eyes, and it probably took longer. And I had to, especially in the front, I had to shim out some things. But the front makes more sense. Also, not the one in the front, but the one behind it is also a giant mess. So, but my mother has pallets. I have pallets that are currently holding dog crates that are being used as storage containers for plastic containers. So once I finish the greenhouse, I'll be using those pallets maybe. So maybe I don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new pallets. Maybe we have what we need here, which is pretty much the name of this game, right? It's using what we have to maximize on joy. Because who knows what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. So I did move. I had two other lights in there charging. One of them charged up. The red one didn't charge up yet, but I did put the red one back there. We'll see if it charges up. I did put the other one over here by this garbage area, and I was really happy. I'm really proud of myself for doing this garbage area because it's like, okay, everything is here. This is garbage area, but it looks ugly. And so I'm like, I have to cover the sides, at least make it look sometime pretty. I don't necessarily have to cover the top, but at least the sides. At least the sides. We do have lattice. That lattice is too pretty for that. So if I happen across some old raggedy wooden lattice, I will claim it and paint it. And, you know, that's the name of the game. This whole thing with the trellis, old wood, this old pallets, using what we have because. And then I like this new orientation, but I really want to see how it is actually in progress. I think perpendicular to it, I do want to put a table, but maybe not at this entrance. I don't know. It might have to be a small little table at this entrance, you know, so you can turn around and it's like workstation, kind of essentially what it was before, but just, well, no, I guess it's had, yeah, kind of what it was before. The table got moved to be parallel, but at some point it was perpendicular. So I think the perpendicular table makes sense, but we'll have to see with this opening. And I think this area, my idea maybe is moving the stairs over here somewhere. And putting and having that as like another plant rack, but also this is also kind of like a plant rack, but also it's kind of like, oh, I hear my nephew. It's kind of also like for racks of pans and pots and whatnot. So yeah, how interesting. I also kind of want to get like a locker to use as like for pots and pans, but we'll see. I'm gonna be building my outdoor kitchen slowly and surely, cheaply and handily. That's my nephew. Using the light. Oh, there's a stroller. Haha.